Hello, coaching you for you, family and friends. Welcome back. It's really nice to have you here tonight. We have a guest coming on this evening, and of course, my name is Annette Latigue. I am your host here at Coaching You for You. Again, thanks for joining me. This is the bad allergy season, so I'm wishing all of you good health. I'd like to take this time to remind you that if you choose, you can ask questions on the screen and we will answer them. Yeah. So, again, I'm Annette Latigue. I'm your host here at Coaching You for You. Thanks for joining me. We have a guest this evening, and we're going to be talking about ride or die and, where that concept came from and what it actually means and how it applies to us. And so, please bear with us. Give me a few minutes. We're waiting for our guests. And I want to be sure that, excuse me, you guys remember how important it is to hydrate. Drink water, eat fruit, moisturize your hands and feet and your face, and mind your business. hmm That's a great place to be. So while we're waiting, I want to hop right into this topic because our guest this evening is prepared to discuss this. And so, get ready for a dynamic evening. And as we await our guest, we're going to talk about what ride or die means and where it may have came from and how the concept was built. And so some of the things, and the reason we're having this topic, initially I said we would talk about self-esteem and boundaries, but got a call from a friend who asked me to have this conversation as they were going through some changes with a family member, excuse me, who thought, you know, they were in a ride or die situation and it was cool to be there. And so we chatted a little bit. And one of the things we talked about was where did this all begin? Where does the concept of ride or die start? How did it happen? And one of the things we discussed was it goes back as far as Bonnie and Clyde, and a lot of people picked up that concept to say that, hey, we're Bonnie and Clyde, we're riding together no matter what. And there are times in healthy relationships where that should absolutely happen. But I want to ask you guys tonight, and I want you to feel free to jump in if you believe that ride or die relationships are healthy. And if so, why? Are they healthy? Does it mean that in a ride or die situation, you should put yourself in harm's way to prove your loyalty? So I posted something earlier this week that said, whenever you're in a situation, the moment you feel like you have to prove your worth to somebody, that is the moment that you absolutely need to walk away. You come with worth. Proving it is not what it's all about. It's about working in a partnership to ensure that as a couple, you're on the same page, that you have mutual goals, you have mutual vision, you have mutual ideas about how the relationship should work. And so, Sharon, welcome. Do we
Can,
have,
can you hear me? You
we're
still
still
can't hear
having
me?
issues with this mic.
What is
Try turning it
wrong?
on.
Hold on.
Sound.
Can you hear me now?
And so technical difficulties are presenting on the end of our guest tonight, but that's okay because we're going to keep trying until we get it right. But the topic tonight is ride or die. Is it a healthy place to be? And everybody has to make a decision about where and how they're going to be in a relationship. If they determine that they're going to be in a ride or die, it is their responsibility to determine where they are in that and why. And I think it's so important because it allows for folks to have a clear understanding of where they are. And so let's hit it.
Can you hear me now?
One of the questions that a friend asked me is a ride or die a healthy relationship? And so I think personally that depends. It absolutely depends on what that ride or die is all about. And so, we have some people jumping into the feed, and one of our guests have said, yes, a ride or die is a healthy relationship. Am I reading that right, Miss Boyd? If not, tap in and let me know. Healthy relationships require that there be mutual understanding and respect, and that you're on the same page. And so, in some of these ride or die situations, and let's talk about where some of them happened at, where the culture was actually built. It was built first with Bonnie and Clyde. You know what they were about. I don't have to tell you. Bonnie and Clyde wrote it out to the very end. And then in this modern times, no, yes, I can hear you, your guest. You can? Can you hear my guest, Carla? Let me know. Because if not, perhaps it's me that cannot hear. And if that's the case, we're going to keep moving forward either way. But let me know, Carla, if you can hear Sharon. Sharon, say something, please.
You can hear me, Carla?
Yes, she can hear you. So we're going to keep going because you
Okay.
can hear me as well, right, Sharon?
Yes.
Okay. So it might be my output speaker here.
Okay.
And I'm going to continue to try to work on that because this is a great topic. And Carla, if you'd like us to pull you in, just say so, and we'll bring you right on screen with us. And as I test this default speaker, system output, connect. Okay, can you, Sharon, let's try.
Okay, can you hear me?
Not yet. One more. We're going to try one more thing, and then we're just going to keep moving forward because our guest can actually hear you.
Okay.
And that's what matters. So let's see what we have here. Let's test our speakers. Let's test our speaker. Let's
Can you hear me?
test our speaker. We're not getting it. Let's test. Let's
Can you hear?
test.
No.
Let's test our speaker. So our speaker is showing that we're playing out. All right. So we're going to keep moving, Sharon, because we can hear you and our guests can hear you as well.
Okay.
Okay. I'm good here. Thank you. Okay, Carla. So this is a ride or die. Our ride or die is healthy. Go ahead, Sharon. Kick it.
I think they can be. They can be. When, like you said, if y'all are both on the same page and y'all headed in the same direction, and basically, for me, what it would mean is keeping everybody else, keeping the outsiders outside, and basically doing whatever needs to be done for you to achieve the goals that you have set for yourself. That would be a positive ride or die. So we're gonna do whatever it takes for us to move forward. Now, a negative ride or die is you got one party, and it could be either or, because we got some women that like to do a lot of stuff too. So if one party is just like doing a bunch of crazy stuff, a bunch of illegal stuff, a bunch of negative stuff, and then you got the other partner who's doing all the positive things and blah blah blah, but no matter what, I'm going to hold you down. That to me is a negative ride or die. Like I'm riding out. I'm not staying with that, because the bottom line is most of the time when it's that way, it doesn't change. It does not change. So yeah, I'll be a ride or die as long as we're in a positive, healthy relationship and going in the same direction. We got the same goals. We trying to get it. Carla, are you still here? Carla, are you still here?
I'm here. I can hear you now.
Oh,
I
you can
had
hear
you
me.
on another speaker.
Okay.
And so, yeah, Sharon, thanks for sharing that. And Carla
Carla,
says,
are you
yes,
still here?
she is.
I'm here. I can hear you now.
She can hear
Okay.
you.
Oh, you can hear me.
On
Yes, we can both hear you.
another speaker.
Okay.
And so, yeah, Sharon, thanks for sharing that. And Carla
Carla,
says,
are you
yes,
still here?
she is. I'm here. I can hear you now. She can hear
Okay.
you.
Oh, you can hear me.
Yes, we can both hear another speaker.
Okay.
And so, yeah, Sharon, thanks for sharing that. And Carla.
Okay, what happened?
Hey, Sharon, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to keep moving because there are some difficulties presenting with the speaker. But as long as the guests can hear you, and it appears that they can, and
Okay.
Vinny is here, she says it's freezing. Thank you. We've taken care of that part of it. Shauna, thank you. And Carla, thank you for sticking with us. So the ride or die, as Carla has said, and I think Sharon has said as well, for me, Sharon, I'm going to need you to nod to let me know because I cannot hear you.
Okay.
The ride or die is about, being in a relationship even when it causes harm. It's being in a relationship even when it's unhealthy. It's being in a relationship even when there's cheating and infidelity. It's being in a relationship even when your best needs aren't being served. That's how ride or die has been couched in the media. For example, with Gucci, he said, in spite of the cheating and some of the addiction and the drugs and the jail and so forth, etc., she knew what she was getting into.
Mm-hmm.
And true or not, my question for the audience and for you, Sharon, and I think you shared your piece to this, is a ride or die healthy? Is it healthy in that light?
No. No, it
Absolutely.
is not. Absolutely not.
That's right. And so a ride or die could be healthy
Mm-hmm.
if it's mutual to both parties and there's no harm in it. So when we take those vows, that
Mm-hmm.
say better or for worse,
Mm-hmm.
we understand that allergies. We understand it.
Right.
It's for better or for worse.
Mm-hmm.
There's grounds in the Christian religion for divorce, adultery.
Right.
What was that? So cheating is never acceptable.
Nope.
Infidelities are never acceptable. However, there are women who choose to accept it, and I don't understand why. I don't understand why. It's okay to be a ride or die. If
Mm-hmm.
it's both sides of the fence, it's a him and a her, or a
Mm-hmm.
them and a they. Whatever it is, it's all right with me. As long as it's mutual, it's respectful, and there's no harm done. So, my partner cannot remember to roll the windows up on the car and the car seat gets wet, and we're going to ride through that. Doesn't remember to take the trash out, we're going to ride through that. He stays out a little late sometimes, we're going to ride through that. What we're not going to ride through is his laying his head in somebody else's bed. What we're not going to ride through is him dealing drugs. We're not. Addiction is a disease, and that's for everybody to make a decision about it. And in making these decisions, we have to understand the impact it has on our self-esteem when we decide we're going to ride or die no matter what. Really?
That's right.
Tell me about that.
Exactly. And that's basically what I was saying. Because, if it's a ride or die, then I have to know what I'm riding for. You know what I mean? And if we're not on the same page, because there's certain things, I just believe that what you settle for is what you end up with. And the bottom line is a lot of women that I talk to have low self-esteem, that they dress up on the outside and keep the low self-esteem suppressed on the inside and not really willing to admit it. Other women have that neediness. I have to have somebody, no matter what they do, no matter how they treat me, you know what I mean? And a lot of it, like I said, stems from low self-esteem, because you don't think you're going to do any better than that. You don't think you're going to do any better. You don't believe that you are worthy of love, true love, not that kind of love where they just using you for everything that you can give them or do for them or bail them out, or give them re-up money or whatever the case may be. That's not love. That is not love. So it's like I said, I believe a lot of it stems from low self-esteem. You don't love yourself, then of course your standards of somebody else loving you are going to be really low.
And so this culture, thank you, Sharon. Thank you 100%. And our guests are saying, right, Sharon. So low self-esteem plays a big role in this. You think?
Yes.
Plays a big role. Lack of self-confidence plays a big role in this.
And not just for the woman.
Is about extreme sacrifice. It's not necessarily about love. It's about extreme sacrifice.
Right.
And anybody who asks you to sacrifice your self-worth, your respect, where you forsake everything and everybody to prove to them that you care, I think there's a problem there. I think caring comes across when folks love each other and have mutual respect for each other and have the ability to communicate. And so a lot of people talk about submitting, and I think we've been sleeping on that. Submitting is for both parties. He submits to your love for him, you submit to his love for you, and you both submit to communication, respect, and mutual vision. That's the submission. And he can lead in that, and he should. But that's what submission is all about. A lot of people misunderstand submission, and this is in these ride or die situations especially. They mistake submission for obeying and doing everything you told, even if it creates harm. Oh, that's my husband. I have to do what he says. There's nothing wrong with being obedient to your husband, but that's a mutual thing. And so I don't believe in the light that ride or die has been cast. I survived the storm with you, but I'm the only one in the storm. I survived the storm with you, but I'm the only one suffering. I survived the storm with you as you cheat because I'm ride or die. That ain't cute. Even Beyonce's tour, I forget what the name of it was. On the Run, maybe, or something like that. Where she made it clear, where she was in it with Jay-Z. And I don't want the beehive smoke. I don't. But I don't get it. And in those situations, there is a lot of money involved and a lot of assets. We're dealing in ride and die situations where it's just because somebody walks through your door every night or every other night or once a week. You're in a ride or die situation, putting yourself in harm's way, holding drugs, dealing drugs, taking abuse, verbal, physical, and mental, because you're a ride or die. You're going to die in that. Let's talk about that for a minute. They're going to die in that. What do you think? I mean, am I, prudish here?
Craziness. But if you don't know who you are, you allow people to treat you. But if you don't know who you are, you allow people to treat you. But if you don't know who you are, you allow people to treat you. But if you don't know who you are, got it. We good? We good? Okay. So yeah, what I was saying is when you don't know who you are, you allow other people to treat you in a manner that's less than you deserve. That's the only way they can treat you that way is because you allow it. you know. But once I learn, I can speak it, keep it in first person.
Yes, we are good.
Okay,
We
we're
are
good.
good.
Okay.
And I think that there are a lot of women who are, in fact, emotionally and mentally dying in these relationships
Exactly.
where they've chosen to be ride or dies. I think they're dying in it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see it in the way they behave,
Mm-hmm.
the way they talk to each other,
Yep.
the things they say, the
Mm-hmm.
lack of respect and courtesy for other women,
Right.
the lack of respect and courtesy of themselves. I think you can see it.
You can.
And I know that it's heartbreaking for me
Mm-hmm.
when I'm in a store or I'm somewhere shopping and I hear some of the things these women say
Mm-hmm.
to their children,
Right.
to the men. Men, you want to know why there's a lack of respect? Ride or
Well,
die. There's a
yep.
lack of respect
Yep.
because no woman in her right mind is going to be okay with some of the things that come with a ride or die. I don't care how desperate they are. I don't care how much they want you. I don't care how
Right.
much they think they love you. No woman is going to be okay with abuse. And ride or die is abusive.
Yes, it is.
The way it's been couched in the media, that you hold on, you hang in there, you ride, even if it creates harm. And some of y'all even take the hit when
Mm-hmm.
they're charged. You take the time for them.
Right.
You take the charge for them.
Yep.
What about your kids? What about your self-esteem? What about your self-worth? Do you know how worthy you are of a decent relationship? So if
Mm-hmm.
you want to know, and I'm going to wrap this up in a bit, but if you want to know, because we've had some technical difficulties, we're on a little bit longer than normal. But if you want to know, why relationships are suffering, because they've gotten away from being normal.
Right.
And by normal, all I mean is mutual respect, love, commitment, communication, and trust. They've gotten
Mm-hmm.
totally away from that
Yep.
in these ride or die situations, in these side chick situations. Hey, to each his reach.
Right.
I'm not bashing anybody. I'm just telling you what's happened out here. You
Yep.
listen to men, as I do regularly in coaching sessions, and
Mm-hmm.
one of the issues that many of them are having is there's no loyalty anymore. There's
Right.
no respect anymore. Women are doing things now that typically was reserved on the other side of the fence
Right.
where the dogs are roaming.
Right.
I'm trying to, be
Uh-huh.
respectful here.
Right.
But they're having difficulties with that. And in the men's group, in the coaching group, one of the things they share about is that women have lost respect for themselves.
Yep.
And if they run up on a decent guy, they think there's something to it because they're used to being the ride or die. They're used to being the side chick. They're used to not getting what they deserve. They are willing to accept anything just to have something.
Right.
That comes from the audience.
Yep.
A lot of women don't know. What don't they know? I think that the term encourages women to continue to endure horrible treatment. Thank you, Shauna. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's absolutely right.
Yep.
It encourages you to endure bad treatment. What do you think, Sharon?
Yep.
Do you
I
think
agree.
that in the audience, what do you think? Do you believe that this ride or die culture that's been created by
Yep.
millionaires,
I
is
believe it.
realistic? Do you think it works to the advantage of the man or the woman? What do
Neither.
you think, Sharon?
I don't believe it works in either of their advantages. I mean, like you gave a perfect example, Gucci. You know what I mean? Like, how did that work in any of their? You know what I mean? He's dead, you're in jail.
Yeah,
Well, the opposite way around. You know what I mean? So
right?
it's just it's crazy, but like I said, it's so easy to fall over on that side. The whole Beyonce and Jay-Z. It's like, yeah, I'm about to die and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
But sometimes you just need to pull back. You know what I mean? And I said this before. This is my experience. Like I can't do. I'm not satisfied with everything that you're okay with. I can't be satisfied with that. And like I said, I'm single, have been, will be, because of those reasons. It's just like, what you could have done to me 30 years ago, You can't do that to me anymore. I won't allow it. When I see a red flag, I identify it as a red flag as opposed to just cruising on that yellow. You know what I mean? It might change, it might get green. No, it's red. Stop. Let it go. You know, because I mean, we got a bunch of men out here that just live by that code. I can't do it.
You know, as we move through this, I'm reading some of the comments, and you know, our guests are saying that they're not dealing in a real culture. It's a false culture for them.
Exactly.
It's a false culture for those who believe that they can survive healthy and be in a healthy relationship with a ride or die. Hey, a healthy relationship in the culture as it exists in the ride or die is not healthy.
Exactly.
That's not my opinion. That's a fact. It's not
Exactly.
healthy. It's never going to be healthy.
Exactly.
Ride or die can happen in healthy relationships, though, as long as
Exactly.
there's mutual respect,
Yep.
commitment, communication, vision, and understanding.
Yep.
And there's no harm done. And
Exactly.
so, you know, Sharon, I'm going to ask you if you'd be willing to come back and we work out the kinks with this, you know, the vocals,
Mm-hmm.
so that audio, so that, you know, we can all hear each other. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask, you know, some of the folks, some of our guests to jump in on the next podcast. I want to carry this over, you know, to part two, continued ride or die,
Okay.
because I think it's so important because there's so many women involved in the ride or die culture.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm not really sure that most of them, and one of the guests hinted at it, understand exactly what that means, exactly what
Exactly.
that is.
And like the
If
other
you're in harm's way,
mm-hmm.
no way. That's not love.
Nope.
That's
Nope.
sacrificial lamb business there.
Right.
When people really love you,
Mm-hmm.
they won't want to do anything to hurt you.
That's right.
And although realistically in relationships, sometimes it happens,
Mm-hmm.
they won't practice hurting you.
Right.
So we're going to wrap this up tonight. We're going to do part two next week.
Okay.
And Sharon, are you available next Wednesday at 8:05?
As of right now, I
Get
am.
back to me and let me know.
Uh-huh.
I want to come back to this because I think this topic is so important. So many
I do
women
too.
are involved and shout out quick, I'm a ride or die. Really? You're dying, baby. You're
Right.
dying. Look
Right.
at you. Look at your mental health. You
Right.
know, look at your well-being. Look at where you are.
Yep.
You know, you're living in a one bedroom. Your kids might be sleeping on the sofa and you're a ride or die. Baby, you got this twisted and you're
Exactly.
sleeping. And we're going to
Exactly.
come back next week to have a
Okay.
little bit more conversation about it once we get our audio straight. It
Okay.
is a Verizon issue. I can tell you that. It is. So, Sharon, thank you for joining me tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing you again next week.
Okay.
I'm actually looking forward to you doing some great things. And I want to thank our guests who came on tonight and shared, you know, some of their experience
Mm-hmm.
and their comments. I want to thank you for joining us here tonight at Coaching You For You. My name is Annette Latigue. My guest is Sharon, such a diva, Harris, who will remind you to always fight for the light.
Exactly.
And so I want to thank you guys. It's good to see you again. I'll see you again next week. We're going to pick this topic back up because
Okay.
it's important and we have a lot to talk about. I'll see you
Exactly.
again. Thank you again and good
All right.
night.
Good night, ladies.